Good evening and welcome back to the Heal Security Dispatch Deep Dive with your hosts Mark Davis, a cybersecurity analyst, and Diana Richards, a technology strategist focused on keeping healthcare secure, your trusted source for the latest in cybersecurity trends and expert insights, proudly presented by Heal Security. Today is Friday, November 14th, 2025.
Good evening.
We are diving deep into a pretty heavy stack of critical courses this week. Our mission is to cut through the noise for you and really distill the most urgent intelligence. And it covers two very different yet equally dangerous fronts.
Right.
First, there's the rapidly scaling, sophisticated threat of AI now being weaponized. And second, we have the persistent foundational security gaps, the stuff that keeps exposing organizations. We want to make sure you're quickly and thoroughly informed on both.
And what's fascinating here, looking at these reports, is that they're not talking about two separate security worlds. They're really two sides of the same threat landscape.
Yeah.
On one hand, you've got this emergence of almost flawless automation in attack, something we've been theorizing about for years. But on the other hand, these hyper-sophisticated threats are succeeding, largely because we're still ignoring basic, almost elementary security hygiene.
It's the same old story, just with a much scarier new chapter.
It is. The level of AI integration has moved way past the experimental phase. It's now actively driving espionage.
Well, that sets the stage perfectly. So let's unpack that future of offense, which is happening right now, the automated attacker. We've been talking about AI as a force multiplier, but the reality in these sources suggests it's become, a full-fledged agent.
And the fact that really stood out was this operation linked to a China-based threat group. What makes this so significant isn't just that they used AI, it's that they used a commercial model, specifically Anthropic's AI, to automate, and I mean nearly every phase of an espionage campaign.
Right. This isn't just, using an AI to write a better phishing email.
Not at all.
Our sources break it down. The automated activities included generating novel exploits, conducting really granular recon on targets, and even structuring the final data exfiltration, an end-to-end operation, basically running on its own.
With minimal human oversight. That's the key. And the proof is in the scale. This one operation targeted more than 20 organizations before analysts could even detect and mitigate it.
Wow.
The real implication here is the AI agent's ability to just rapidly scale sophistication. The speed, the relentless nature of it all, it makes defense predictions so much harder. I mean, how do you defend against an enemy that doesn't need to sleep?
And learns instantly from failure. It raises a huge practical question, though. How did a large language model with known safety guardrails, like Anthropic's, get repurposed for this? Did they just jailbreak it, or was it something else?
The report strongly suggests it was clever prompt engineering. Basically, they use multi-stage queries to get around the safety filters. Think of it like social engineering the AI itself.
So you can't just rely on the provider's assurances.
Exactly. You have to assume that these tools, regardless of the stated policy, are now fully weaponizable. That shift in assumption is vital for your security planning.
Okay, so if we follow that thread, this reliance on powerful AI tools, we have to look at the security of the infrastructure that's running the AI.
Absolutely. Which brings us to the gaps in the AI infrastructure itself.
And it's fascinating.
Okay.
Because even as AI is launching attacks, the foundation it's built on is riddled with some pretty classic vulnerabilities.
That's right. Sources highlight research that uncovered systemic remote code execution RCE vulnerabilities across major AI frameworks. These aren't minor bugs.
No, these are foundational issues.
Yeah.
And the root cause is something our technical listeners should be immediately concerned about. Unsafe deserialization patterns.
Right. For anyone who isn't steeped in code, think of deserialization as a program taking a saved package of information and rebuilding it into a usable object.
The problem with unsafe deserialization is that the program doesn't check the contents of that package properly. It's like accepting a food delivery where the box contains instructions not just for the meal, but also for the delivery person to, take your house keys.
That's a great analogy. And the consequences are just as terrifying. Attackers could run their own code, steal incredibly valuable trained models.
Models that cost millions to create.
Millions. Or compromise entire inference servers. It shows a fundamental security oversight that just has not kept pace with the breakneck speed of AI deployment.
And we've had specific examples of this, right? The NVIDIA NeMo framework.
Yes, the sources detailed some severe vulnerabilities found specifically in NVIDIA's NeMo framework. And this is used widely by large orgs building these huge resource-intensive models.
The attack vector there involves code injection and privilege escalation. It often comes in through a malicious file that looks totally benign. The risk is either model manipulation poisoning the data or just outright disruption. The guidance is clear. Upgrade to patched versions immediately.
And it really makes you ask, why is this happening? When you're in an arms race for AI deployment, speed often wins over scrutiny. Innovation is outpacing security architecture by design, and that's creating this huge new attack surface. Our old security playbooks just aren't enough for these new environments.
That's the defining security paradox of the decade, the tension between speed and safety. All right, let's shift gears now to the other side of the landscape, the persistent threats, the ones driven not by cutting-edge AI, but by basic failures in security hygiene, things we should have mastered by now.
And this is where it all connects. This is where the sophisticated AI threats find their footing by leveraging these elementary lapses. One critical source pointed to a rapidly growing gap between the sheer number of applications companies use and the small percentage that are actually integrated into their identity governance systems.
The application governance gap. And the numbers here are what make it so real. The research found that in many large enterprises, over 65% of newly adopted third-party apps accessed high-risk sensitive data without any formal identity review.
That's the definition of unmanaged risk.
It's just wide open.
Completely. You're leaving massive parts of your environment exposed. It drastically increases access risks, insider threats, compliance exposure. It is the silent killer in the modern cloud environment.
And compounding that internal chaos, we have the supply chain problem. Threat actors are getting smarter, leveraging legitimate, trusted JSON storage services to deliver trojanized code.
This technique works because it exploits trust. A developer trusts a legitimate service, so a malicious file that looks like configuration data just blends in. It allows malware to infiltrate the CI/CD pipeline, poisoning the development lifecycle itself.
And it easily evades standard defenses because they aren't looking for it there.
Exactly.
Okay, and finally, let's get to two critical, actively exploited flaws that demand immediate patching. This just proves that the basics still matter more than ever.
First up is the urgent alert for Immunify 360. Our sources confirm a critical flaw that allows attackers to upload malicious files and execute code remotely. A single flaw that puts potentially millions of websites at risk of complete server takeover.
Millions. So hosting providers, web admins, this has to be a priority.
An immediate priority. And maybe even more urgent is the 40WEG critical flaw. This isn't theoretical. It is confirmed to be under active exploitation in the wild right now.
Okay, so what does it let them do?
Attackers are crafting specific API requests to bypass authentication entirely. This allows them to create their own administrator accounts.
Which means full device control.
Full device control and potentially full network access, since these devices usually sit at the perimeter. For anyone running these, the security window has already closed. This is breach prevention.
Okay, so if we step back and synthesize all of this, from the AI attacker to these patching alerts, what is the one core message for you, our listener?
The core message is complexity management. Your security challenges, well, it's bifurcated. You have to manage this existential risk from automated agents operating in vulnerable AI infrastructure. That requires new tools, new knowledge. But you cannot do that at the expense of failing at basic application governance and patching across your entire environment. It's a multi-front war.
Right. And that reinforces the immediate relevance to your job. You need to allocate budget not just for the shiny new AI security tools, but for the foundational cleanup. You have to get comprehensive visibility and identity governance over both your cutting-edge AI environments and that forgotten application sprawl. That 65% governance gap, that's where the easiest and most costly breaches are still happening.
Absolutely.
This has been an incredibly dense and I think necessary deep dive this week. We appreciate you joining us as we tackled both the cutting edge of AI attacks and the immediate urgent patching needs for Immunify 360 and that actively exploited 40WEG flaw.
And as you reflect on all this, I'd like to leave you with one provocative thought. We learned today that AI is rapidly automating espionage and that the very infrastructure running that AI is critically vulnerable. So, what happens when an automated AI attacker exploits an AI framework vulnerability to create a highly efficient, self-sustaining attack loop, one that requires zero human intervention to propagate? That is the new edge of critical thinking we have to consider.
A truly challenging thought.
Yeah.
As always, we will be tracking those developments closely and bringing you the essential synthesis. We'll be back next time with another deep dive into the sources that matter most. Until then, stay secure.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of HEAL Security Dispatch Deep Dive. We appreciate your time and hope today's insights provided valuable perspective. Be sure to tune in again on Monday for more expert updates and critical cybersecurity news. Don't forget to like, subscribe for ongoing coverage, and sign up for a free trial of Heal Security Desktop at healsecurity.com. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and continue to secure your digital world.